Hello everybody, my name's Clay, and this is my first YouTube video, so bear with me. But I'm making this video because I wanted to share some information and things I've learned that have really helped me in my life. And today's video is about affirmations and why I believe they're very important and why I think you should do them too. Honestly, affirmations are the kind of thing that you shouldn't say them all day, every day. I believe you should just write them down. Make a list of affirmations. Make it as long as you want. There's no limit, really. You can make it up to 100 affirmations if you want. What's worked for me personally is I've written probably about 90 of them, and it's been over a course of several years. I started off like maybe the first year I maybe had about maybe 30 affirmations, and then the next year I added another 30 or so. It just kind of increases over time based on what I think I need to just, based on how I feel like parts of my life that can use an improvement. I'll just add more affirmations as I see fit. And you should always make your affirmations with "I'm so happy and grateful now that," and then just say the affirmation like it's already true. Personally, for me, law of attraction, stuff like that's what these are all based on. I never just wrote something down and it just comes out of nowhere. Usually when I write it down, and here's one more, before I go into that, there's one more thing, is that when you write it down, I personally, what's worked for me is I recommend you, as soon as you wake up, or at least, within the first 2 hours after you wake up. People say that you should wake up and immediately say your affirmations because your mind is still in some kind of theta brainwave state, and it's more receptive to new input and new information. So if you're just starting out, it's probably better you do it that way. But for me, it's been a little bit, in the beginning I did start off waking up and just saying it, and it helped out a lot. So maybe for you to be different, but to be on the safe side, it's probably best you just wake up and say them right away. But first you got to write them down, of course. Probably start off with like 10. And you can say them many times, but personally for me, I just say each affirmation one time each. Just, for some reason, it's like when I do it one time each, it just works better. But I recommend experimenting. I think everybody's different in this area. But for me, saying it one time each doesn't overload my brain. It's kind of like working out, like if you're just starting out, you should, start kind of, go as far as you can without hitting to overtrained territory, because I feel like for the mind you can overtrain it and then you end up getting overloading your brain. It's better to build it up little by little. But anyways, personally I think it's best to just write them down as is already true. I'm so happy and grateful now that, and then just put whatever affirmation you want. And as you repeat them every day, personally in my experience, I noticed that you'll go through a series of events over time. Some happen quickly, and then some take longer than others. Some take, I'm not even gonna lie, some things, like I'll write down like I want this new expensive, I'm into like high-end technology stuff. So I wrote like some really expensive TV I wanted, just stuff like I wanted to buy that was really expensive, or a new really expensive PC because I love technology, or just things that I could never buy before. I wrote down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I own this $5,000 computer, because I just love technology. So that's just me personally. Or you can write a car or whatever. And it took about, it's funny because I went through so many years of my life, and I've always wanted this, like for example, this Alienware PC, just like, because I'm a gamer, I like stuff, I do stuff on my phone free time. And I wrote it, for years, for at least 10 years, I've always wanted one. And it just never happened, ever. And this was before I did affirmations. And then one day I decided, I'm going to write that down. So I wrote down, that I own the best, Alienware PC. I wrote it down. And then it took about a year and a half. Just one thing led to another. For some reason, I found myself working overtime and just, you might get it in any way you want. But for me personally, it's just about the point of writing it down and then seeing where your life takes you that makes that thing come true. For me personally, I would just work less paying job. Like I would just take on bigger responsibilities, and stuff I wouldn't always normally do before, and then it would just lead one thing led to another, and I end up doing overtime. I was never the type of person to do overtime, and I would just start doing overtime. And eventually I just got the PC. I don't know, it's weird. Like sometimes things will just come out of nowhere. Other times it'll be a series of events, and then you'll just find yourself with the thing. And then when it happens, you're kind of like, I got it now. You know, it's like when it happens, you're not really that surprised. But anyway, man. See, I've just started making these YouTube videos, and I have to hold the phone myself, so forgive the shaking of the camera and all that. But yeah, I'm gonna give me one of them things that hold this up better, so I can record these videos. But yeah, my life has been a lot different. I mean, I'm not where I want to be 100%, but my life has gotten a lot better ever since I did affirmations. So I you know, even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, just try it. Write down some affirmations every day when you wake up. Say it. It's like Steve Harvey, for example, is big on affirmations. I watch a lot of videos on him. He recommends you wake up and say it, and before you go to sleep, say it. You can do that too. My dad was the one that taught me about this before I watched the Steve Harvey videos, and I used to do it when I was young. And my life was very different when I was young. Like, it was really good. And my dad used to make us say affirmations every day before school. And then when I got older, I stopped. And then for some reason, my life just got really, it just felt like life got really hard, you know? Like, it was just like I don't know if anybody here watching this follows Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, but he talks about like where your attention goes, energy flows and stuff like that. Like, he's real big on I forgot the point I was going to say on this, but basically, back to what I was saying, when I was young, my life was very different when I said the affirmations before school. Like, I was just a very typical kid in school, and then when my dad would make us say these affirmations every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I believe that. And we would say it every day in the car before school. And I mean, it was like, we wake up and like an hour and a half later, we'd be saying it in the car. So it still worked. We didn't say it immediately, but it still worked. And for some reason, I went from being just a regular kid in elementary. At the time I was in elementary. And then when I started saying that, for some reason, I started getting more friends. And at some point, I became very popular in school. And I was like, how is this even possible? Like, I've never been the type to be popular. And it just, one thing led to another, you know? And then my life was really happy when I was young. I mean, a lot of kids, you know, when they're young, they have great childhoods. You know, well, because we're young, you know, you have more fun. Now, I understand there's a lot of kids that have hard childhoods, but generally, like, childhoods are more fun than adult life for a lot of people, is kind of what I'm saying, my point. And but anyways, it made my life very different when we would do that before school. And then I stopped as I got older, got to high school, graduated. I'm actually in my late 30s right now, so I went a long time without doing it, and I just started doing it again about 5 years ago. And my life has been changing really slowly, but for some reason I could see the differences that it makes in my life. And yeah, my childhood was very different when I would say it, and then I stopped, and then my life got hard again. So if you don't say affirmations, your life is just going to be a lot harder. It just, I mean, even if you don't believe in this sort of thing, like even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, just saying affirmations trains your subconscious mind to change the way you think and view things. You know, like if you say to yourself that you suck every day, you might find that you're actually not as competent as you could be. You know, like, and even at my jobs, like I work regular jobs right now, and I'm trying to make this YouTube channel and get this going. And, you know, I've been, you know, I like to read a lot about self-help, the mind, psychology. I study this stuff a lot, and I decided, oh, you know, I'm going to start making YouTube videos. Maybe I feel like I've learned a lot over the years, and I want to share it with everybody who watches these videos of mine. And I'm going to start applying it to this YouTube channel, and just take it one day at a time, and just, you know, get better at it. But yeah, just I forgot the point I was at right now. You see, this is all new to me. See, I'm doing this, and I have to get this down, and you know, it's a process. It's not always, you don't always just hop on and instantly you're a genius, you know, at the thing. But oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I noticed a lot of my jobs I've been doing for the past couple of years, actually like past 5 years, I had about 2 or 3 jobs But each job I noticed, it was weird because I was a mover. I've been a mover for 10 years before the job I'm doing right now. And I was always really good at what I did, but I was never the absolute best. And I wrote affirmations down about 5 years ago, and I would just work at my job, and suddenly I ended up being the top mover in the company. And we would have these things called Google reviews, and I got so many reviews, and it's because I would write down these affirmations that I would say to myself, I'm the best. And I wouldn't say it all the time, but I would say it like regularly, regularly enough that it became kind of a part of my speech. And then I would be at work, and I'd be like, to myself, I'd be like, I'm the best, and if somebody was trying to work with me that was a little bit faster, and I felt kind of like, it brought out that side of me that was like, no, I'm the best, and I would just work. And I would end up getting so many of these reviews that I ended up on the list, on the Google list. My name was on there at the top of the thing, and I was like, what, this stuff never happens, like I never had this happen before. And and at the job I'm doing right now, I drive a forklift, and I also find myself also rising to the top at this job too, just from affirmations. And before that, I felt like I could never do that kind of thing. It's without affirmations, I was just mid. And then as soon as I did the affirmations, I found myself like one of the top employees, if not the best, or just, one of the best, at least, It's just, my point is, it makes a big difference in your life. Whether this thing, I have to hold this phone up. It just makes you a lot better at what you're doing, whatever it is you're doing. If you're an artist, if you're painting, if you're, you doing music, just write down, even if you're not the best at it, just write it down. Just write, I'm the best musician, I'm the best artist, I'm the best, and read it every day. You don't have to believe it on the spot. Just read it, or just say it to yourself every day. You can say it in front of the mirror. That's another way you can do it. It's very useful. There's multiple ways you can do it. You can say it to yourself when you're driving. You can say it to yourself looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror. You can do all that kind of stuff. It's just do whatever works for you. But I recommend saying, personally, I just say it once a day, each one. I just go down the list one at a time. Takes me about, I have like 80 something affirmations, so it takes me about 10 minutes to say the whole thing, or somewhere around there. It doesn't take too long, but I just do it, whatever works for you, and try that. But if you're an artist, say you're the best artist. I mean, you could say, oh, I'm one of the greatest, but I mean, it costs you nothing to just say you're the best. So I recommend just say you're the best, and then you'll go through a series of events, and sometimes it might take years. It might be unique to you. Oh, excuse, that's my cat. It might take you months. It might take you weeks. You just go through a series of events. I mean, obviously, you're going to be the best. It's going to take a lot longer, but you'll go through a lot of series of events that guides you to the result of your affirmations. If you say you're the best, you're going to find that you may end up in a different, around a certain set of people that improve your skills. It also expands your awareness. When you say you're the best, suddenly your brain, even if you don't believe in the law of attraction, your brain will like open map. 1 second, let me up. Stand up. My arms are kind of hurting. Even if you say, if you say you're the best, it's like your subconscious mind's map will open up, and you can perceive more, and you'll find yourself aware of things that make you the best, or that make you more capable of being the best. If you say you're if you insult yourself every day and you say, oh, I'm mid, or oh man, I suck at this and all that, then your mind's map stays limited to only perceiving things that prove that you suck or that you're not that great. And it's just detrimental. It's not going to help you. Even when I'm a kind of person that exercises a lot too, and it also helps me with that. I say, oh, I'm athletic and all that. I feel like I feel like it's really helped my ability to exercise better and stuff too, but if you sell yourself short with phrases that are defeating, then you'll only hit that mark. Anybody who's great at what they do, they at least, I'm sure there are exceptions, but I would say don't ever make your life based around the exceptions only. You gotta, there's something in the consistency. Most winners think like winners. So I think if you want to be the best at what you do, or at least be as competent as you can be, it just benefits you to just train yourself, like working out, to think that way on that level. And one way to train yourself, or I would say the best way to do it, is just write down Write down your affirmations like they're already true. And over time, you'll find that you end up, you're training your mind, just like you train your body to build muscle, you train your mind to think in new ways. Like if you're out of shape, you're overweight or something, you start working out. In the beginning, it's gonna feel wrong because it's not how you normally are. You know, you're used to being out of shape. But then if you start working out a lot, then it becomes, then the new you becomes somebody who's used to being in shape. You know what I mean? Like it's something that becomes who you are, your identity. If anybody ever read the book, The Compound Effect or Atomic Habits, it talks about this, but it's more of an action-based process. But if you can use this, well, I don't know if anybody's read it, but it's a very popular book. I'm pretty sure most people have, or at least a good portion of people have. But one of the things about the book is that it talks about, in case you haven't read it, it talks about the power of doing things in small ways. Like you start really small. Like, for example, if you're going to start working out and you struggle to show up at the gym, you can do something as small and seemingly useless as just, if you're doing yoga, just get the yoga mat and lay it down and then roll it up and then put it back in the closet. Like, it seems so pointless, right? But then if you keep doing that every single day, then you'll find yourself doing the next step, like possibly, you're going to lay down the yoga mat and you're going to start, maybe you do one little yoga stretch or position or whatever that is, or it even says you could start off doing one push-up. And then over time, these things add up. If you do one push-up every single day, you'll find yourself feeling compelled to do 2 push-ups and then 3, and then over time it just adds up, like it's strange. It seems meaningless in the moment, but if you just do it, you'll find that it builds, things compound. That's why it's called compound effect or atomic habits. Well, atomic habits didn't really hold that in the title, but the compound effect's basically the same process, it just compounds over time. So with affirmations, you could just say them one time each. Just say it one time. Just say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm the best artist in the world or something, or I make this much money or whatever. In the beginning, it's going to feel like you're lying to yourself because you are. But if you keep saying it, eventually you start to believe it and it'll transform how you view yourself, and then your actions will follow, or at least you'll feel some kind of compelling. Another thing is, I recommend, if you don't feel like you're taking actions, just you might have to force yourself to just take some kind of action, take some kind of action to combine with it, because just doing it on its own and expecting your whole life to transform usually doesn't work. You have to combine it with action. That's what I do. I tend to try to take as much action as I can. It's tough. I'm lazy, naturally lazy, and I know that's kind of an affirmation, something else I got to work on. But I'm naturally lazy, but I also force myself to take action when I have to. But man, I'd be lying to you if I said that those affirmations don't help a lot. If I didn't do affirmations, I'd be in a much worse position than I already. I'm not really in a bad position. I'm pretty good right now, but I'd be in a very bad position without affirmations. And I recommend anybody watching this video to do them. Just make a list, write it down. There's a lot of famous celebrities that do this too. That write, like Matthew McConaughey. I remember there was a video on him on YouTube. You can look it up. He wrote down a list of things that he wanted, like they're already true, and then but he didn't read it to himself. See, I think just writing it down is power, but I like to go that extra mile and read it to myself. And most people would recommend you read it to yourself every day or recite it to yourself every day. I have mine memorized, so I don't even have to read it. I have the whole 80 something memorized, and I just say it off the top of my head, and man, it makes a world of difference. And anyways, Matthew McConaughey, he said that they all came true. It took like a decade or so, but they all came true. Everything he wrote in there, he wrote something about him becoming this high-paid actor or something like that, and some other things. But some of them were rare things that shouldn't have happened, but it ended up happening. So they come true. Just write it down. Steve Harvey was another one that said it, that he wrote down things and it took him like 30 years for them to come true. So it just depends on I know it sounds crazy. It's like, oh, why even bother? Who knows how long we're going to live. But you never know, because sometimes I write things down and I get it in a month, or sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it just depends. It also depends on your beliefs. and how much resistance you have towards these things. But I don't want to drag this video out too long, so I want to cover this more in more depth in another video. And there's some other combinations of things that you can combine with it that are very powerful. And if you don't do these other things like mindset optimizations and stuff, it doesn't work as well. So it's also how you think and how you handle negative thoughts, how you handle positive thoughts, whether you block them or you don't block them, or you know, there's a lot of techniques. And I have a certain amount of techniques that I do that really help on this stuff. And if you do the wrong combination, like you deal with negative thoughts in the wrong way and you say affirmations, you might actually get worse results. Because I've had things go wrong just by, like, I don't want to drag this video out too long. I'm going to do another video on this. But personally, like, blocking your thought and your negative thoughts is not the way. I made a little short before this one that it's best to observe negative thoughts neutrally. Don't react to them when they come up. Just stay calm, stay relaxed, and just observe them neutrally. And just keep your attention on it neutrally. Don't react. And as you observe them, emotions will come up. Bad emotions. Don't fall in the trap of believing they're true. That's a lie. Just observe those emotions neutrally. And if you sit there long enough, they'll go away. And they might come back later, and then you repeat it again. Observe it all neutrally. And you just keep doing that. And you'll find that those thoughts return less and less, but sometimes it takes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes it might even take months. But eventually that's what frees you from it. It's like you build up this resilience to it, and it stops bothering you, almost like a bully that wants to bother you. And if you don't feed him any energy, he gets bored and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go bother somebody else. It's kind of like that. But I don't want to drag this video out too much, so for now I just want to let you know that affirmations, they help a lot. I'm telling you, you gotta do them. They help a ton. You know, even if, like, I don't have everything I wanted, but I have a lot of what I want, like, just because of the affirmations. And who knows how much more I can get in 5 more years, you know? So just try it and just see how far it takes you. Matter of fact, I'm going to be using affirmations with these videos, and over time we'll see how it goes, you know? I think it'll help me a lot, because it's really helped me in my job. It's made a big difference everywhere. Anyways, I don't want to drag this video out too long, so just want to let you know that. Give it a shot. Try it out. I'll be expanding this in more detail, because there's a lot of other information I want to share that really has helped me in many ways that I think will help you too if you just try it. But anyways, I'm just going to end this video here. If this video helped you in any way, please like it and subscribe to my channel. It'll help me out a lot. I want to see how many people I can reach with these messages. You know, these are very important messages. I think a lot of people need to reach this, and you subscribing and liking this video would help that a lot, and I would appreciate it very much. Thank you, and have a good day.